Right around this time, right before the Bitcoin halving of May 2020, I made one of my biggest crypto investments yet in Cardano ADA, among many others, but Cardano went on to do a 65x over that coming cycle, and I 65 times my money. Today, I'm going to show you just when is the best time to buy according to Plan B and analysts on crypto Twitter, as well as my own experience to help you take advantage of this set it and forget it, less stress, more success strategy so that you can position yourself to do multiple X's on your portfolio this coming bull cycle, which I believe will be one of the most explosive bull cycles in crypto history. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you just exactly how I did it and how you can do it too. And I'm also going to go over 3 altcoins set to explode this coming crypto bull market. So without further ado, I'm your host, Megan Nilsson, aka Crypto Megan, and today is day 9 of our 200-day to Bitcoin halving countdown. That's right, you've got 191 days to prepare yourself for what's to come. So let's dive right into it. Before I jump into the slides and today's presentation, I just want to set you guys in the mindset where I was when I did this. I sat down all alone with just my thoughts one night, just really thinking about the market, studying, researching. Where had Cardano gone in its last all-time high? What was ahead for Cardano? Did I believe it would stand the test of time? And some mathematical, just crunching some numbers. I bought myself a massive whiteboard. Fun fact, I discovered also that there's this tape or this wallpaper stickers that you can put on your wall where you can write on your wall. And I just write all over because I'm a very visual person. So I just wrote everything out about how I thought maybe it would work out, different scenarios, how much allocation I needed to hit my target goal. I broke that all down and put it up on a board so I could see my goals each and every day. And I was committed to succeeding in that. And yes, I had to take bigger risks. You take bigger risks, you get bigger rewards. It's not for everybody's risk appetite. However, Cardano is a bigger altcoin that has stood the test of time through multiple cycles, and I decided that's what worked for me. So this is not financial advice, but you have to decide what works for you, your investment strategy, and the amount you're allocating in your portfolio. But I decided to go for it at that time, and I had a clear vision. I executed on that vision, and most importantly, I did take profits right around the $3 mark, which was the all-time high of the last cycle. So get yourself a whiteboard and get serious. You've got 200 days until the next halving, and I'm going to explain to you now just exactly what I did that night when I sat down. Of course, I used more advanced programs, and I've got other things, but I like to see it. I like to look at it up there every single day and know that I'm making progress in my goals, and also it trains you not to be emotional. You just stick to a strategy and set it and forget it. So let's check out exactly where you would be had you invested $500, $1,000, $5,000 in Cardano when it was at 4 to 5 cents when I invested in it. And what are the possibilities today? Just for reference, I believe that all of the altcoins I'm going to talk about today can do a 20x and beyond in this coming cycle, and I'm going to explain why. So stay tuned. So jumping right into it, this is a slide that I always show, and it's how I made a 65x in 1 year. Now, the time frame doesn't matter, so don't quote me on time horizons. What matters is when you make the buy. All of the heavy lifting is done when you make the purchase, when people least believe in it, when it's down the most, when it's moved the least, and it's boring and methodical. That's where you come in. You step in to get those exponential gains in projects you have conviction in for the future. So I bought Cardano ADA, one of my heaviest investments, right before the last halving. So in February 2020, I bought ADA between 4 and 5 cents. All right, just picture that, 4 and 5 cents. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody really cared about it, but I had heard some buzz about it, and I did a lot of research on it, and I decided this one has the possibility to stand the test of time. It's heavily down. I'm going for it. I'm pulling the trigger. And so this is what I did. So my price entry was 0.048. And this is just to give you guys just an inkling of what's possible in these markets. Maybe not the same multiple X's because there is a thing about diminishing returns as the cycles go on and crypto gets more mature. Less and less gains are to be made. But still, we are in an incredible point in time to do exceptionally well in this coming cycle. And I want to get you guys prepared. So Bitcoin at the time was $9,000. Can you imagine investing in Bitcoin at $9,000? It's incredible. And here's what I want to illustrate. Had you bought when I bought with just $500, you would have turned that into $31,250. 1,000 would have been $62,500, 5,000, $312,500, and 10,000, over $500,000, $624,000. That's incredible. That's incredible in 1 year. I don't know any other asset capable of doing that. Yes, it's higher risk. These are altcoins. They're not Bitcoin. So again, depends on your risk tolerance and strategy, but I am heavily allocated to altcoins as well as Bitcoin. I have a lot more Bitcoin in my portfolio now, but in general, Bitcoin is used to store the wealth over time, and the altcoins are used to generate the wealth. Okay, so here's top of cycle predictions. I believe that in the next bull run, and I'll talk about this more later, Cardano could go anywhere from $6 to $8 and even all the way to $10. So you may have missed the boat last halving, but you're still in time to get some incredible gains, in my opinion. Not financial advice, just my opinion as a YouTuber and YouTube with a lot of experience in this space and having invested myself in previous cycles. Okay, so gains to the top of this cycle, 208X if you would have invested back here. However, if you're just investing now, you are still in an incredible point in time. But just for fun, if you had invested that $500 and held it over these years at 0.048 when I did, a $500 investment will be $100,000. And you've got to ask yourself, how much would have made trying to trade these markets if you would have bought and hold Cardano when I did in February 2020, a $500 investment, and held it up until this coming cycle, maybe 2025, so that's 5 years. Now, this is just speculation, right? But if you had held it for 5 years, you could make it 208x, and that $500 would become $100,000. That is the power of where we're at now and the opportunity that we have, okay? There are no guarantees, but this is the way to try to multiply your portfolio no matter how much you go in with initially. And you take profits. That's another video, but just know that in order to make this work, you must take profits when we get to the cycle top. You must on the way to the top. You'll never be able to time things, which is why right now I want you to start getting positioned because we don't know if crypto is going to come back down and retest its base. It very well could. Bitcoin could drop down to 17,000, 19,000, and the altcoins could take another massive leg down. We don't know. All I'm saying is a set it and forget it strategy and just working with the market cycles based on the halvings has been a good strategy up until now in the crypto markets. So moving right along, Plan B, an analyst on Twitter that has come up with this model called stock to flow model says, are you ready for April 2024 Bitcoin halving? Or do you think this time is different? So there's always a narrative about why this time is different. And they may be true. You know, cycles are different, but they often rhyme. And this is just what's happened in previous cycles. Right now, we're in the blue, which is the accumulation zone, according to this chart. I'm going to show you here. Right now, we're in the accumulation stage. So we've already been through the worst of the worst, according to this chart, and so many charts and so many indicators. Okay. Like I said last video, I believe we bottomed. I said that we bottomed around 17,000 last time we were there. It went all the way down to 15,000, but I think we've already bottomed. We've double bottomed, in fact, and we may very well come and test that base. But right now, what we do know based on a lot of models is that we're in an accumulation phase. We're in this blue stage right here. And every time in Bitcoin's history after this blue stage, you see we've gone into these parabolic exponential cycles. So will this time be different? Time will tell. But as I said, cycles often rhyme, but they don't repeat, but they often rhyme. Now, to be clear, I still stand by my January 12th prediction. November 12th, 2022, 15.5K was the bottom. Yes. Bitcoin will rise towards 2024 halving. BTC already rose from 18,000 to 27,000 since January 12th. Yes, that's a fact. 2024 halving will be above 32K, between 32K and 66K, in my opinion. So what do I think? I think that by the end of the year, the maximum Bitcoin will reach is about 45,000. And coming into the halving, we'll see. But I think he's right around that mark here in what he's saying. And 2025 bull market, over $100,000 to 1 million. Well, 1 million is kind of a far cry, if you ask me, for 2025. A lot of analysts have predicted that, like Kathy Wood from ARK Invest, for 2030. However, I do believe that in this cycle, we will be somewhere in the $100,000 to $200,000 area. So that's a good reference to go by. And let's continue on. So this is what I wanted to draw your attention to. According to this trading rule based on the S2F model, so the stock to flow model, you should buy Bitcoin 6 months before halving and sell 18 months after the halving. Outperforms Bitcoin buy and hold in both return and risk. Of course, not financial advice and no guarantees that it still works. Just a nice test, in my opinion. What do you think? So he's saying that the best time to buy Bitcoin is 6 months before the halving. Now remember, Bitcoin works differently than altcoins. Bitcoin is always the first mover. The flow of crypto, the flow of money into crypto is always first into Bitcoin, especially now with all the talks of the Bitcoin ETFs, then into Ethereum, the second biggest daddy of the market, the biggest, largest altcoin by market cap, and then into the large caps, meaning more market cap altcoins, heavier to move, bigger, been around longer usually, and then into the mid to low cap altcoins, meaning it takes less to move them, but they're more risky, so they come at the end of the cycle, and after that, NFTs. So is this true? It very may well be. So my analysis today is altcoins, not Bitcoin, and remember, altcoins always move long after Bitcoin usually. Usually Bitcoin steals the show in the beginning of the cycle, and then we move on to altcoins. I call it altcoin season. So let's check out ADA, Cardano, where it was when I invested in it. So this is a really telling chart. Okay, so I'm going to show you the chart now about Cardano, where I invested, how long it took to move. As you can see here from this chart, I'm going to minimize it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to show you the Cardano chart now, and just when I invested, how long it took to move, and what happened after that. So I invested in Cardano right here in February 2020, just before the May Bitcoin halving. And as you can see, it was a great time to buy. Maybe it wasn't the absolute best time to buy, as it was a little bit lower way back here, but it wasn't that much lower. 0.03 cents almost. So I bought right around here in February 2020. But as you can see after that, it was a long sideways accumulation period. So I bought here, the halving was here. And from when I bought until when it really took off is 1 year. So for most of you watching this, maybe you're thinking to yourself, but 1 year isn't that long. No, but in crypto, people come in and they expect to get rich quick overnight, and it just doesn't work out that way. So I bought it here thinking I'm going to hold this into the cycle and see how this goes and try to take profits on the way up. So that was 1 year before Cardano started to do its parabolic move. Is that, as you can see, when Cardano did do its move, it took off and it waited for no one. So had you been waiting, maybe you saw the dip here, you thought it was going to go down further, you would have missed all these gains just by trying to time the market. So what I'm trying to say is any time in this area before the halving, and even 1 year after the halving in this case for altcoins, had been a great time to buy in the last cycle. So you've got time to prepare. But again, I want to give you a sense of urgency in starting to learn, because you do have this opportunity now. So give yourself time, ample time, to get prepared and do research and figure out what you have conviction in to build your strategy. Over here are the numbers. All-time high for ADA was $3.09, okay, back there. So it is a 12x just to get back to its all-time high from its current price of 26 cents. So if it reaches $6 in the next bull run, you'll get a 23x. If it reaches $8, it'll be a 30x, and $10 even more, right? So I'm saying you can get a 20x out of this altcoin. That was what I believe. It's not financial advice, but this is what I'm positioning myself to do in this cycle again. So $100 would get you to $3,000, $1,000 would get you to $30,000, and $2,500 would get you to $75,000. And you may be thinking, but if I only have $100 and it only reaches $3,000, that's not life-changing. Maybe not, but you know what? You stick around for multiple cycles and you compound your gains, meaning you take the money you make from this cycle and you buy in again in the next bear cycle, and that's the way you're going to grow your wealth. There's a chance for everybody here. Even the smallest allocation could potentially change your life over time. So let's look at some of the other altcoins that I believe are going to be set to explode this coming bull market. First off, we have Polygon Matic. It has got some incredible partnerships. Here is a chart depicting the top 10 partnerships, the rise of Layer 2 Ethereum scaling solutions. So helping Ethereum scale Layer 2. Polygon is by far in the lead. These are just some of the brands that have partnered with Polygon: DraftKings, Stripe, Reddit, Disney, Adidas, NFL, Starbucks, Adobe, Meta, and the list goes on. So they are securing a lot of big partnerships and a lot of big brands that are putting their name on the line to work with Polygon. And then you have it here. Polygon proposes Council for Decentralized Governance and names 13 members. The committee will consist of 13 people, including officials from Coinbase and the Ethereum Foundation. So most likely setting itself up to be farther and farther away from being deemed a security. The more decentralized this becomes, the less chance it has at being deemed a security by the SEC. So it seems to be positioning itself by creating this new council. And it says here that the Polygon Protocol Council on a push toward a more decentralized governance style and named 13 inaugural members. So the proposal, known as PIP29, will be responsible for narrow in scope, time lock limited changes to system smart contracts implemented on Ethereum. So they'll be putting in the work to try to make this more decentralized. Now let's have a look at Polygon Matic and see what it has the potential to do this coming cycle. So its all-time high was at 292. And we have approximately 5x to get back to that all-time high. And if you believe, like I do, that this next crypto cycle is going to be one of the most explosive we have ever witnessed because of so many reasons: institutional money, Bitcoin maturing as an asset class, more and more eyes on it, more and more adopters, then you probably believe that this is going to do better than its all-time high from last cycle. So just a 5x to its all-time high and beyond. Again, all these coins, I believe they can possibly give us, no guarantees, of course, but 20x in our portfolio and even beyond. We don't know, but a general consensus could be that 10 to 20x, that's what we're going for in altcoins. And next coin we have is Chainlink. This one, I really like Link. I've always liked Link. I hold Link in my portfolio. And it actually led the last bull market. So it was one of the leaders in the altcoins to lead us into the last altcoin season, mega altcoin season. And it rallied hard and with good reason. So Swift partners with Chainlink for cross-chain crypto transfer projects. Swift. So this is huge news, right? The project will connect Swift's network to nearly every blockchain to allow traditional finance players access to digital and traditional assets on one network. Again, that traditional finance word, everything that has to do with traditional finance and facilitating that liquidity is going to be big. So Chainlink scored this massive partnership. Interbank messaging system Swift has partnered with Price Oracle. So oracles are what take the data from the outside world and bring them to the blockchain, kind of like the plumber of the internet. So to work on a proof of concept project, which would allow traditional finance firms the ability to transact across blockchain networks. Big. So this is a massive partnership for Chainlink. And here we have a look at Link's chart. And this is a really interesting chart too. So Link's all-time high was at 5270, 5x from its all-time high approximately as well, just like Polygon. And as you can see here, this is just incredible. This is a 528-day accumulation phase. Imagine buying Link down here, all right, for 545. Would have been an excellent time to buy. But then holding it for 528 days. That's the patience it takes. Now, compared to traditional markets, that's nothing, but people lose patience quickly in these markets in crypto, and that's why they don't win. I want you to win. And it's not that hard to win if you take this set it and forget it approach and you have patience. You let things play out. You let the technology develop. You let the cycles mature. And that's it, right? that's just what, when you place your bets, you set them there and you let them mature. That's just how I'm approaching this market. And I believe you'll be wildly successful if you do the same. So over these 528 days, it reached a high of 9. So it's been oscillating in this area. And like I said in the last show, the farther and farther you stretch a rubber band, when you let that rubber band go, it's going to go higher and higher the farther it gets stretched, right? It's going to slingshot. And that's exactly what Link did here. So Link finally broke this range all the way up. You see this massive wick here. So of course, we never chase the green candles. What goes up must come down. It will correct. And when it does, not financial advice again, but you may want to consider taking a position. This one will be big for the next cycle. And last but not least, XRP. A lot going on with XRP. And one of the most interesting things to me is that it is one of the only coins that did not break its all-time high in the last bull market. It's really strange because even coins, ghost chains or phantom chain, like coins that actually do nothing and haven't built anything, ran harder than XRP. And you might be asking yourself, why? I'll get to that in a minute. So XRP is 7.2x approximately down from its all-time high. So it's right up there with Cardano in one of the coins that's been beaten down the most. And the question then remains, has price been suppressed? I absolutely believe so. And I'm going to do a video on this in the coming days to explain what's bubbling with XRP, because this one is, there's a lot going on in the background and some big news that just came out. Apart from the SEC surrender, this is other news as to why, indicating why the price has been suppressed and approximately when it might shoot up. So 7.2x back to all-time high of 384. Also a long accumulation period. These times are long, drawn out, and boring for the average investor, but not for you because you are in it to win it. So there you have it, the 3 coins that I believe are set to explode next cycle, how I made my 65x gains in Cardano. You can also have wild success in these markets if you're patient, if you do your research. You don't just trust YouTubers telling you things, but you actually dig a little bit deeper into all of these things. And then you come up with a strategy, and you will most definitely succeed. No guarantees, but it's the best chance you have at succeeding. That I can guarantee. So I hope you enjoyed this episode today. And until next time, I'll see you tomorrow.